Today I'm going to simulate getting a pet Pokémon from a baby Eevee all the way to its final evolution. I'm going to feed, play, train, build habitats, and even have a bunch of battles with other Pokémon to see what it's like to have a Pokémon in real life. But starting off, it's just an egg right now. It's very small, but every now and then it gives a tiny shake. And after walking around with it for a while, we now have a baby Eevee that's brand new to the world. It's only a few inches tall with soft fur and big curious eyes. Right now, it looks like it can barely do anything, unlike what it's going to turn into later in the video. So first, I just let the Eevee take its first steps and realize that it's alive. After a short burst of energy, the baby Eevee got tired and started napping. So I placed it in a small container with a soft blanket to make it comfy. But while it's asleep, we need to build a proper habitat where it can live, eat, and grow into a strong and healthy Pokémon. Hopefully we can finish all of this before it wakes up. I decided to build a custom habitat inside of this glass tank. But since Eevee is a normal type Pokémon that can evolve into many different forms, this habitat needs to prepare it for anything. So it's going to have three main environments: a forest, a rocky terrain, and a small water area. The entire base is layered with soft soil, so all sections blend together, giving Eevee a comfortable surface to run, dig, and explore. Starting with the forest side, I added thick grass, small plants, and pieces of wood so Eevee can hide, explore, and feel safe. This area is designed to help it build confidence and agility. It's probably going to spend most of its time here. Then, for the rocky section, I place large stones, small caves, and uneven terrain so it can climb, jump, and develop strength over time. This will be important later when it starts battling stronger Pokémon. And finally, I added a shallow water area. Eevee isn't a water type, but depending on how it grows, this might become very important later. With the forest, rocky terrain, and water zone complete, the habitat now has everything Eevee needs to grow into a strong and adaptable Pokémon. So I picked up the little Eevee that just woke up and gently placed it into its new home. At first, Eevee was cautious. It slowly walked around, sniffing everything, trying to understand where it was. But after a few seconds, curiosity took over. It started running through the grass, climbing over rocks, and even stepping near the water before quickly backing away. Okay, maybe not a fan of water yet, but it was clear it was learning fast. Now, in order to start growing, Eevee is going to need food. So I tested a variety of different foods to see what it actually likes, starting off with some berries. Then I gave it small pieces of meat, followed by fruits like apples and watermelon, and finally a few treats. At first, it was a little picky, but once it found something it liked, it started eating a lot more. And almost instantly, its energy levels went up. Now that it's full of energy, it's time for training. I took Eevee outside for its very first battle against a small wild Pokémon nearby. At first, it hesitated. It didn't know what to do, but then instinct kicked in. It dodged, reacted, and finally landed its first successful attack. Eevee won its first battle. It wasn't easy, but that small win changed everything. I brought it back to its habitat, where it rested and recovered. Over the next few days, I repeated the same routine: feeding, training, and battling. Each day, Eevee got stronger, faster, and smarter. It even started training by itself inside the habitat, running through obstacles and practicing movements. So I rewarded it with a small treat. But little did I know, something unexpected was about to happen. One morning, Eevee got bored of its habitat. Instead of staying inside, it decided to sneak out and explore the outside world. At first, it was harmless, just walking around, curious about everything. But then, it ran into something much stronger. A wild predator Pokémon appeared. Eevee froze. This wasn't like the others. It was faster, stronger, and way more aggressive. The battle started, and almost immediately, Eevee was pushed back. It tried to dodge, tried to fight, but it wasn't enough. But right when it was about to lose, something changed. Eevee evolved. Its body transformed, gaining new strength, speed, and abilities. Now stronger, it turned the fight around and barely managed to survive. That moment changed everything. Eevee was no longer weak. After that, I realized it needed a bigger space. So while it rested, I built a new habitat outside. This one was much larger, with more space to run, train, and grow stronger. It had tougher terrain, more obstacles, and even training spots to push its limits. When Eevee woke up and entered its new habitat, everything changed. It started training non-stop. Day and night, it pushed itself harder than ever. It fought stronger wild Pokémon and became more confident with every battle. After remembering what it felt like to almost lose, it never wanted to feel that way again. As time went on, Eevee kept improving. It became faster, stronger, and much more aggressive in battles. But eventually it reached a point where normal fights weren't enough anymore. So early one morning, it left. Eevee went on a journey far beyond its habitat, searching for stronger opponents. It traveled through forests, climbed rocky paths, and faced increasingly powerful Pokémon. Each fight made it better. But then, it found something far beyond its level, the strongest Pokémon in the area, the final boss. The battle started, and instantly Eevee was overwhelmed. Every attack hit harder, every move was faster. It got knocked back again and again. For a moment, it looked like it was over, but then everything it had learned came together. The training, the battles, the experience. Eevee evolved one final time. Now at its strongest form, it stood its ground. The battle turned into an all-out fight, back and forth, attack after attack. It wasn't running anymore. It was fighting to win. And after one final clash, the opponent fell. Eevee had completed its journey. From a tiny helpless baby to a fully evolved, battle-tested Pokémon capable of defeating one of the strongest opponents it had ever faced. And that's what it's like to raise a Pokémon in real life.